Welcome back to week 15 of the Ready program. Our activities this week include continuing the calendar. Last week I talked to you about perhaps using patterning on the calendar. You can continue to do that. We also introduced ordinal numbers. Again, use those even though we are already going to the 14th, the 15th. As long as you use those ordinal numbers and your child hears those numbers, it will help that concept be learned. Another thing you can do on the calendar is talk about predicting what number will come next. Is that number going to be more, or is that number going to be less? Is that number going to be higher or lower than the number that's already represented on the calendar? This week, we're going to introduce the concepts greater than, less than, and equal to. We're going to start this introduction with a poem integrating our literacy called Alligator Munch. Alligators like to eat. Yummy numbers can't be beat. Only larger numbers will do. Smaller numbers are hard to chew. So feed your alligator, the larger one. Just like that, your problem is done. Great opportunity with this poem to review high frequency words, words that rhyme, letter identification. So integrating our literacy with our math. So for this activity, you will take the 3 symbols that are provided for you. You can put them on sticks or you can just lay them out on the table. And they are equal to, they are less than, and they are greater than. As the poem suggests, the mouth opens to the greater number. Take your manipulatives and put them in 2 separate piles. So you might have 3 beans in one pile, you might have 5 beans in the other pile. And then you're going to put up the alligator opening his mouth to the larger amount. And you will read it left to right. So if you have 5 beans on this side, 2 beans on this side, it'll read 5 is greater than 3. So you'll put your manipulatives in 2 groups on the table, have your child count which one is more, and then the appropriate alligator will be put, whether it's less than or greater than. Again, you want to make sure you're reading it left to right. If you have your less than open and you have 2 on this side and 5 on this side, you don't want to say 5 is greater than 2. You want to read it left to right. 2 is less than 5. Again, the larger number is on the side where the alligator's mouth is open large. Like the poem says, he wants to munch on the bigger number. So you can do this with manipulatives. If you want to use edibles, I'm all about, like I said last time, the snack items. And you can put 2 different amounts of snack, goldfish, M&Ms, whatever you want to use, a larger number, a lesser amount on either side, and then have your child count the items and then put the appropriate greater than, less than, or equal to. It's also fun. You might have them eat one and say, does it still read the same? Is it still greater than, or do we need to change the symbol as they eat their snack and take amounts away from either pile? The next activity is called Count and Compare. You're going to be using your deck of cards, and you're going to take out the face cards, the king, the queen, the jack, and the ace, and we're only going to use the number value cards. You're going to put 2 cards down, and then you're going to talk about which one, looking at the symbols on the deck of cards, which one is greater than and which one is less than. Again, reading those left to right, you will draw the symbol for them using dry erase, or they can draw the symbol if they're able, or you can go ahead and use the alligator munch symbols for this activity. Again, you're going to take the deck of cards. You're going to put out 2 cards of different value. You can put out 2 cards of equal value, and they will use the equal sign. And again, counting the objects on the card, recognizing the number that's on the card. So we have object counting, one-to-one correspondence, we have number recognition, and then talking about greater than and less than. The next activity is a card game, and it's called War. You might be familiar having played this as a child yourself. You're going to use the same playing cards, take out the king, the queen, the jack, and the ace, and you're going to divide up the cards evenly between you and your child, and you each have a pile, and then you'll each turn over 1 card, and your child is to determine which one is greater or has a higher value than the other card. So if you turn over an 8 and they turn over a 3, which card is greater, which one has more on it? You can count them. You can, again, number recognition. And then the person that played the higher number card or the greater number card gets to keep both cards, put that aside, and then you each turn over another card. This continues until the person who has the most cards, has taken all the cards, is the winner. As you notice, as we use language with greater than, less than, and we're counting quantities, a lot of these are interchangeable. We talk about more than, which one is less, which one is more, which one is higher, which is a lower number, which one is greater than and less than. They're all very interchangeable when your students are learning. So don't worry if the child, doesn't use the term greater than right now. If they say it's a bigger number or a smaller number, this vocabulary is all interchangeable at this time. Next, we have Let's Line It Up. That's a review from last week. It's ordinal numbers, where your child takes a group of objects. It can be their favorite cars. It can be their favorite action figures. It can be dolls. It can be different colored plates. And they're going to line them up. And we're going to, again, move left to right. And we're going to talk about the position they are in that sequence as being first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. As your child puts them out, they can even name them, or you can have them already out and you can ask them questions, and they can either point or name which one is first, which one is fourth, which one is fifth. Then you can say point to the car that is second, or point to the plate that is second. The idea is to introduce those, practice those ordinal numbers with objects in position. And then you can extend this activity. We talked a little bit about that last week, just in your daily language, in routines, and it may be even if they help you make lunch, you can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. First we put out the bread. Second, we're going to put on peanut butter. Third, we're going to put on jelly. Fourth, we're going to close the bread up. And fifth, we're going to eat it. So there are ordinal numbers in your daily living situations, in games that you play, in daily routine. So go ahead and really use that language because it encourages them to use that language as well. The next activity is Plato Numbers. This is a review. We've been using Plato to form the different numbers. I think what I'd like to encourage is, while the Plato seems like just part of it, and the numbers is the main focus of the activity, it's really important to get that strength in your children's hands, because that's going to be something they use to write. So the Plato portion of it and rolling out the ropes or the snakes to form those letters is almost as important as the forming the letter and recognizing, or forming the number and recognizing the number. So Plato Numbers, you'll roll out your child roll out the Plato. They make that number using the cards, And then make sure you go over the little rhyme that goes with it, how you form the number. They can count objects to match that number. They can talk about what number comes next. They can talk about which number is greater than, which number is less than, start incorporating and integrating all those math concepts because they really build on one another and you can use them interchangeably. Next, we have the activity Book Investigators. This too is an activity you've done before. You're going to use your pipe cleaner magnifying glass and you're going to look at books. Again, we want to make sure we talk about the author of the book. We're going to talk about the illustrator. We're going to talk about reading left to right. You can look for high frequency words. You can look for specific letters. You can look for specific sounds. Again, this is just a review of something you've already done. But again, encouraging the children to find words in the book, letters in the book. Maybe have them look for letters that are in their name that are the same. Another activity this week is Hop on Words. This is your high frequency words that you're going to use on the floor. And it's a good movement activity that keeps them engaged to recognize the words that they have used. You can either call out the word to have them hop to. They can hop to a word and they can tell you what the word is. You can say hop to a word that the second letter is H. Using your ordinal concepts, you can vary it and have them hop to a word that starts with the T sound. Go ahead and extend those activities and get them thinking of different ways to use just the high frequency words. Hop on Words is the activity. The next activity is a rainbow tear paper craft, except this week, we're not going to tear and build a rainbow, but we are going to work on our numbers. So we've taken a marker and we've written the number 5 in this case, and then you're going to give your child paper to tear into the small 1-inch or smaller pieces, and then they're going to glue them on the number outline. Again, it's important to follow the correct number formation, starting at the top, going down and moving around instead of just haphazardly putting the paper each and everywhere until they finally cover the line. So encourage that letter formation. Encourage them to use glue if you have it, and not just glue sticks. When they get to the school setting, they will be using glue, and it's helpful that they've had some practice with that and using the small dots to put on the glue. You can either put the glue directly, a dot of glue on the piece of paper and put it on the number, or you can put the glue on the number itself and they put the paper on top. So either way works. But again, using our tear art activity craft to make the numbers. You can do 0 through 10. And if you also can have them write the number down at the bottom. So rainbow tear paper craft, creating our numbers. Okay, the last activity that we have for the week is our letter rainbow. You're going to take your letter rainbow, and we're going to build the letter arch using our upper and lowercase letters this week. We're going to do something a little bit different to reinforce pattern. So thought it would be fun if you pull out your uppercase letters and your lowercase letters, and you're going to separate them out for your child out of the bag. And we'll begin with the uppercase A, and then we're going to have a lowercase b, uppercase C, lowercase d, uppercase E, lowercase f. So we're going to interchange uppercase and lowercase. Once your child builds that rainbow, we're going to see if they can recognize that they have created a pattern. Not only will it be a letter pattern, size pattern, uppercase, lowercase, it's also going to be a color pattern when they get through of blue, red, blue, red. It's just a fun extension to not only practice and reinforce the letters and the alphabet sequence, but it's also a way that they can integrate their math concept of patterning. It's just fun to change it up. And I've watched some of the videos that you've shared on the group page, and you all are just doing an awesome job with your children. And as a teacher, I can't tell you how much that's going to really help them when they come to school. I'm just so impressed with all the different ways that you're taking the material and not only doing the lesson as we show you, but coming up with your own ideas. I mean, you could all be teachers yourselves. It's really just so exciting to see you working with your child and teaching your children and how excited they are to learn. That tells me what a great job you're doing. And it's just a wonderful thing to see. And I'm so excited to be a part of this program. So you all have an amazing week. And we'll see you next week for week 16.